Now look at chapter 1 of Leading with a Limp, which is the chapter talking about reluctant leaders and really giving the premise of the whole book. It's part of the book that starts to show that every leader that we can see in the Bible, or many of them anyway, people like Jacob and people like Jonah are reluctant leaders. Moses, they are men at this point, and even Esther, who come to leadership having seen life, having seen struggle, and they don't go jumping into it as if this is some glorious venture. They at some level have been burned. They know the problems. They know the challenges. We've discussed this among some of the staff in Grace Finder as well. And one of the staff members has shared with me their insights that I want to bring into this video blog for this week. I'll read a few things from what they said, and then I'll summarize with a few points that will lead us into the week after of our discussions. The person that sent me the link through email, their thoughts, said this: many leaders today, be it in the church or in the professional world, are highly regarded due to the quality of their skills and knowledge of content. But one thing in the first chapter that Allender challenged, helped us see and think about more is character. The great leader is one of a quality, constantly growing character, and yet a character that is being shaped and struggled and isn't going in a linear direction in getting better, but being challenged by the day-to-day crises, chaos of our lives. Allender mentions that out of the three categories of what typically makes a leader, when you look at various leadership books and how people work with leadership, it's skill, content, and character, and it's often character that is being ignored the most. The world we live in puts emphasis on skill and knowledge of content very high. In some of the seminaries or in the graduate schools or in university, you see this, where the practicum is there, but really the knowledge and content is held in higher regard. And yet some of the problems we've seen in the business world, where character has come into the picture, where there's been all sorts of downfalls, has now shifted it towards character, but still something that is being worked out in the leadership world. Excel in these areas, skill and knowledge, and you'll thrive. The world and the kinds of leadership we see today shout these two categories to advance a company in cash flow, expansion, reputation. Also, what is more sad is there seems to be pockets of subtle and quiet, similar movements in the church, and this was their comment, and I have seen that too. But the church is no worse a place because it's a gathering of people who know that they have broken lives and they're sinful, and yet with the challenges that are there, sometimes we expect more. And they often put that emphasis on it too, not considering quality of character as much. What this person brings to light that I really like was this. They said, what I love in how Allender closes out the chapter is saying that a leader is not one that is trying to gain or obtain more skill, knowledge, or character. Not even the character. But a quality leader is one who is wanting to give away all the knowledge, skill, and character for the greater good and to better the ministry she or he is serving in. We grow up in a world where we fight and work hard to obtain skill, knowledge, power, reputation, position, acclamation. But it should be the other way around. We should work hard, growing our skills and knowledge, but for the sake of one day giving it away and sharing it with others, to pass the baton on, so to speak, that others could take the ministry, a vision, further than we ever could or would, not mattering who gets the credit, because it's not for us, it's for a bigger thing, it's for a kingdom that is being shaped in this world. Your kingdom come. Some application summary of this chapter that I would add, and then one final quote. Bottom line for this chapter is that the best leaders are reluctant, as I've already said. Some of these insights are from the Leader's Guide, which I also have been following along with. It says that reluctant leaders are not easily seduced by power, or not trapped in limelight of pride, and not driven by the ambition of bigger is better. They want to be exceeded. That's the dream of a reluctant leader, to be exceeded by those around and see them thrive. Easier said than done, but a huge challenge to our own paradigms. The advantages of reluctance, which we'll look more into as the weeks go on. Reluctant leaders, paradoxically, are more courageous. They go deeper to find creative solutions. They're more grateful. They can see the good in the others around them. They can encourage the complementary gifts. Even the betrayals, Allender contends, can be part of this, and this is something that we will have to talk about later. because this is a challenging concept that betrayal can teach us. But if we're reluctant leaders, if we're leaders that are limping, leaders that know we're broken, know we don't have it all together, then we can say the things we need to say with courage, because it's not there for us to please people and to make them like us better. And yet on the other hand, there's a compassion that can be there because we can see the brokenness in others as we have it in ourselves. Reluctant leaders are also more open to others, according to what Allender says, and also they are more hopeful. And we'll expand on these in ways that continue on in the weeks to come. Allender summarizes what this week's video blog is about. He says it is her true joy, the leader's true joy, to see others awaken to their potential and exceed their greatest dreams. It's the hope of every good teacher to have students who take their work further than the teacher was able to do. To be surpassed is the ideal. To be replaced is the goal, not a sign of failure. This was something that the chair of Grace Finder said to me at the very beginning, that Brian, you have to develop someone to come after you, to come along and not to hold on to the power. She was right. And that is something that we continue to look for and want to happen as well. But it's not easy. We are people who have a hard time letting go. To be surpassed is the ideal, as Steve Brown would say. You think about that. And we'll talk again in a week or two. Thanks.